The blue and red lights reflected off the water as I finished tying the final cleat hitch on my boat. Two officers approached down the wooden dock, their boots creating a steady rhythm against the planks. The taller one, Officer Martinez, cleared his throat and said with a professional tone, "Excuse me, sir. We received a call about trespassing and unauthorized docking at this marina." I raised an eyebrow, already knowing exactly who had dialed 911. Through my peripheral vision, I caught a glimpse of bleached blonde hair and crossed arms watching from the shoreline. Patricia Hendris, or as the neighborhood had come to call her, Karen. She stood there with a smug expression, probably thinking she had finally won our little war. 3 months earlier, I'd bought a waterfront home in Sunset Shores, along with something special, a 51% ownership stake in the adjacent Sunset Marina. The previous owner, Frank Morrison, had protected that marina like a fortress. When he passed, his attorney offered it to me. I couldn't resist. Unfortunately, Patricia Hendris, self-appointed queen of the HOA, wasn't thrilled about losing her imaginary kingdom. She'd ruled this place for 7 years, issuing fines for unaesthetic mailboxes and aggressively cheerful lawn gnomes. Our conflict began the moment I backed my 24-foot cruiser down the launch ramp. Patricia appeared like a bureaucratic ghost, waving a clipboard. "You can't launch that here without HOA approval." I told her I owned the property at 47 Waterfront Drive, with marina rights. Her jaw nearly hit the dock when I added, "Actually, I own the marina." What followed was a campaign worthy of an election season. Daily emails, "Unauthorized vessel threatens community standards." Flyers warning of declining property values. She even hired her nephew, posing as a marine consultant, to inspect my boat. When that didn't work, she took photos, measured imaginary boundaries, and held a 45-minute HOA presentation titled "The Boat Problem, a Clear and Present Danger." That night, I connected my phone to the projector and displayed the legal deed. "The marina," I explained, "is a separate entity. I'm the majority owner. The HOA has zero jurisdiction." Murmurs filled the room. Several board members shifted nervously. Patricia's face turned crimson. "You can't just waltz in here and claim ownership," she shrieked.
"Didn't claim it," I said. "Bought it." 2 days later, she called the police.
Which brings us back to those flashing lights. Officer Martinez reviewed my documents, nodded, and said calmly, "Ma'am, this gentleman owns the marina. He can't trespass on his own property." Officer Chen added, "Calling 911 for a false report is a misdemeanor."
Patricia's jaw fell open. Word spread fast.
Neighbors began sharing stories. Kayaks banned for being too yellow, essays required to justify slip rentals. I organized a community meeting.
The room was packed. "Here's my plan," I told them.
New cleats, safety lighting, and fair slip pricing. No more aesthetic committees. If your boat floats and you're respectful, you're welcome here.
Applause erupted.
Patricia stood in the back, trembling with rage.
"This is a coup," she screamed.
An elderly resident rose quietly and said, "Patricia, the only thing being overthrown is your tyranny." The crowd cheered. HOA Vice President Michael Torres then stood. I moved to hold a vote of no confidence. The result, 17 in favor, 2 against.
Patricia was done.
Her reign collapsed overnight. The HOA formally separated from marina governance, acknowledging my legal ownership. Patricia stormed out hissing, "This isn't over."
But it was.
The next morning, I posted new marina rules, simple, fair, and focused on safety. 2 weeks later, she applied for a boat slip. I denied it. Reason: documented harassment and false reporting. When she received the rejection, she appeared screaming at the marina office. "You can't do this to me. I built this community."
I looked up from my paperwork.
"Patricia, you're welcome to dock 6 miles north. I hear they have great HOA compliance." Legal fees from her failed lawsuits forced her to sell her house. The last anyone saw, she'd moved inland to Arizona, a landlocked paradise where she could terrorize no more marinas. Her final HOA meeting was brief. She sat in silence as every one of her absurd rules was repealed. That evening, I installed a small sign at my personal slip, "Private slip, owner operated." The marina thrived again. Families fished, children laughed, sunsets glowed peacefully across the bay. Patricia's infamous 911 call backfired spectacularly, earning her $3,000 in fines, 40 hours of community service, and a permanent ban from HOA leadership.
The Loca.